Childcare assistance for many low-income families in our state is currently on pause, leaving lots of people without the help that they rely on. 9 News race and culture expert Dr. Rosemarie Allen is here to tell us what caused this. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
So what's happening with the program? Why is it on a freeze?
Well, first CCAP, Childcare Assistance Program, is a program that supports families that are experiencing poverty, that are low income. And the reason that it's on a freeze right now is because of some federal regulations that were initiated during the Biden administration. And they were really created to help families afford childcare. So some of the rules included a cap on what parents will pay in terms of a copay.
Okay.
They capped it at 7%. And it also supported providers, because now providers will be paid not for attendance, but for enrollment.
Okay.
And they'll be paid in advance. But Corey, that resulted in a $70 million unfunded mandate.
Ooh. And we're talking about how expensive child care can be. I mean, it can be like a mortgage plus, depending on how many kids you need to have in child care.
Absolutely. For one infant, it's nearly $16,000 a year.
Oh, man.
So imagine having 2 children.
Right.
And these are families who are barely making a livable wage, and child care assistance, those subsidies really help to pay for child care.
Okay, so talk about how this is impacting Colorado families right now.
Right now, there is a freeze. 24 counties are not accepting new enrollments, which means that these families either cannot work or they're finding child care that might be really, really hard to find. Some are relying on family, friend, and neighbors, but some of them just cannot work.
Yeah, and that's tough when you're relying on different people every day, every week. You know, kids like stability, and things to be kind of the same places, and so that's really tough too.
It's so tough. We call it continuity of care, especially for young children. They need routine. They need to be able to be seen, valued, heard, and understood by one caregiver. So when you have multiple caregivers, it has long-term negative impacts on young children.
So speaking of long-term, talk about if this pause continues on for even longer, what happens?
Corey, it becomes not only a family issue where the family has unstable care or no care. Families are not making the money they need to live, and we know what that looks like today.
Yep.
But also it becomes a workforce issue. These people now are not able to work. So who's going to fill those jobs?
Right. That's such a tough conversation to have in families right now.
And if you can't get your child in infancy and toddler, by the time children are 6, they're saying with these freezes, some children may not be able to take advantage of CCAP until they're 6.
Yikes.
Yeah, so that whole first 5 years with no child care.
That's when you need it most.
That's when you need
goodness.
it most.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, hopefully they figure it out.
I hope so. What we know is that the Trump administration, they've expressed opposition to the rule, so they may work on repealing it.
Okay.
But in the meantime, local, state, and federal governments are going to have to find ways to invest in child care for families across the country.
Yeah, it's a big deal. All right, Dr. Allen, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.